that you've taken the time to join us today. And just happy to be with you on the front end of your graduate school experience. We know from you and from past experience that you just can't get enough of hearing from current students and from their experience. So we're really happy to have this group of panelists who has agreed to be with us today, and they're the highlight. But before we get started with that, I just want to offer a few remarks. As you can see from my background, we just celebrated commencement at Seattle University this past weekend. And of course, in the COVID world, it's all different than what it normally would be. But even under these circumstances, it felt like a really graceful celebration, and was a wonderful opportunity that we discovered that people from around the world participated in, and we could see from their chat remarks that they were sending in their congratulations from all over the place, which was really great to see. But so we're still celebrating the class of 2021, which hopefully motivates you on the front end of your graduate experience to have that motivation from the tail end of your experience, of others' experience anyway. The grad welcome events are meant to complement the orientation and information that you're receiving from your programs. It's not a replacement, it's just in addition to. You should have also have received an invitation to a Canvas course that is an online orientation that is chock full of resources for both academic and student support services around campus. And we make that information available for the first couple of terms that you are at Seattle University. So you can feel free to go in and out of that information as it proves useful to you over time. We often find that by the time students go to register for their second term, they don't remember how they registered for their first term, so that people are going back out to the Canvas course to check on some of the things they hadn't remembered from before. So that'll be kind of an ongoing resource for you. And if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to go sign up for the course. And I call it a course because it's offered within our learning tool called Canvas. And it's of course free to you, but it's a way for you to learn about a lot of resources that are available to you. So this is the opportunity to complement that as well. So before going to the main event, our student panel, as I've mentioned to some of you, we encourage you to right click on your name in the lower left-hand corner, so that you can put at least your first name and your program or an abbreviation of your program, so that we can know what program you're intending to go into. And our panelists have done the same, so you also can see which program they represent. But some of our panelists are wearing a couple of different hats. Again, if you haven't muted yourself, please do that, just as a courtesy to everyone else so we can hear. And because of the size of the group, there's about 50 of us on this call. We just ask you to leave your questions in the chat box. No question is too small or too trivial or too large. So feel free to leave the questions that you have in the chat, and there may be panelists who would respond, or there could be other colleagues in our group here that could be responding to your question. But if you have a question as a follow-up to one of our panelists, feel free to leave that there as well. So our Q&A session today is going to be moderated by our brand new president and chair of our Graduate Student Council, Daniel Tamayo. And I will turn it over to Daniel to introduce himself and our student panel, who are excited to help you transition into your graduate program. Daniel?
Thank you, Jeanette. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending on what time zone you're in. I know a lot of people are everywhere right now because of this COVID time, but we want to welcome you to Seattle University. As Jeanette said, this event is sponsored by the Graduate Admissions Office and co-sponsored by the Graduate Student Council. I am Daniel. Will be your moderator for today. I am also a student in the College of Nursing Doctor of Nursing Practice program, and I'm also the GSC president and new chair of the board. So welcome, and we have a great group of panelists here today, and I would like to introduce them individually. And our first panelist, in no particular order, is Ariel Wilson.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see all your faces. My name's Ariel Wilson, and I will be speaking for the Computer Science Fundamentals Certificate Program today, which I just finished, and I'll be starting the MSCS program in the fall. So it's nice to see you all.
Thank you, Ariel. Our next contestant, our next panelist is Julius Moss, who is also the Chief of Staff of the Graduate Student Council.
Greetings to everyone. Again, my name is Julius Moss. I come to you from the College of Education, the Doctoral EOLL program, which is a new moniker that we have. But like Daniel said, I am also an incoming officer for the Graduate Student Council. My role is Chief of Staff, and my preferred pronouns are he and him. And welcome to everyone.
Perfect. Thanks, Julius. The third would be Tabitha Brown.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tabitha. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm in the Master of Social Work program. I'm going into my second year, and I am also the graduate assistant for the program as well.
Thank you, Tabitha. Next up in our Price is Right contestant is Ashley Miller.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Miller. I am coming to you from the EOLL program as well. I recognize a lot of you here today, so I'm so glad that you made it. I work as a graduate assistant in admissions for the EOLL program, and also I'm entering into my third year of the program, starting the dissertation process, which is super exciting. But again, I'm just super glad that you all made it. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Ashley. And our last panelist is my colleague in the College of Nursing, Serena.
Hi, everyone. I am in the College of Nursing. I'm also in the DNP program. I have been here for a couple of years. I had to take some time off for family. So if you have questions about stopping your graduate program, not recommended, but I can speak to that.
Thanks, Serena. So as Jeanette said, we have our panelists and we have pre-written questions for today. We have topics regarding virtual learning and how that's going to be in Seattle U, as well as academic and student support. So I will be asking those pre-written questions, but feel free to type in your questions on the chat box. A couple of us will be monitoring the chat box to answer those questions. We will also be typing those answers to those questions. But if you have a question, feel free to ask them because we're all here to learn. We're all students. And I would also like to give a shout out to the Graduate Admissions Department directed by Jeanette and admissions counselors and is Tori, Troy, and Laura. So going on to the question and answer portion, our first topic will be virtual learning. And I will address this question to our Ariel. We'll go in the same order. And the first question is, since most classes this summer will continue to be held online, what strategies do you have to be successful with virtual learning?
That's a really great question. And I would say one thing that was actually really wonderful about switching to a virtual environment was that all of the lectures are recorded. And so I found one thing that helped me to be successful was to still attend class, even though the lectures were recorded. And then if there was content I didn't understand or I needed to review, I actually rewatched the lectures a lot, maybe 1 to 2 times per lecture. Another thing that can really help is if you have access to a printer or some sort of tablet, to look on Canvas and see if the lecture slides are available to you before class begins. and to take notes directly on the slides as you're watching the lecture. And when you go back and rewatch the lecture, those two things were the main things I had in mind. Yeah, I'd say those helped a lot.
Thanks, Ariel. Would any other panelists like to add in to what strategies would be helpful for this virtual learning platform? And feel free to add your questions to the chat if you have any follow-up questions or have any general questions outside of these topics.
Tanya, I'd like to add to that as well.
Go ahead, Julius.
Just real briefly, one thing that Ashley and I experienced was starting our doctoral program in the summer of 2019. It was in a hybrid mode. And so when we came back January of 2020, just prior to the pandemic starting, it switched to an entirely, completely online format. And that was a program that, like nursing, wasn't really intended for being solely online. And so finding group time, making connections early and, collaborating with others in a virtual setting. There's numerous tools that are featured on Canvas and as well as other places on the Seattle U's website, but really just trying to make connections early and kind of scheduling them out to feed off of one another, kind of like a brainstorming session. That really helps.
I would like to add to what Julia said. You reminded me of another thing, which is, yes, reaching out to your classmates online is very valuable. For the CSFC program, there is a Slack channel that you may have received a link to already for the boot camp starting this summer. And I really encourage you to reach out to your classmates to use that as a study tool. It's very helpful.
I can add to that too. As Julius was saying, meeting, like even if it's just over Zoom with some of your classmates to plan like upcoming assignments is really helpful. Another tool that was really helpful to us to be able to facilitate that is WhatsApp, because you can make, like if you're working on a group assignment, you can make a group specific channel and be able to like message your group members. You can also have like an all cohort channel, which we do, which is really nice. It's easier to connect with people quickly without having to like sit down and write an email or do a phone call. So that was really helpful as well.
Yeah, I can add to that as well. The MSW program, we do cohorts, and my cohort got on top of it very quickly as we were starting in the midst of the pandemic, and we got a GroupMe chat going. And so being really proactive when you get into your program and asking about these things, maybe collaborating with other people in your program to get these things going, because sometimes it won't be the program that already has this connection ready for you. It's going to be on the students to get those groups going so you can chat with each other very easily, and it helps a lot.
Thank you. I can attest to what everyone said. It's really difficult to make connections virtually, but whatever platform you can find, whether it be GroupMe, Viber, Friendster, MySpace, Facebook, to feel free to like connect with others, because that is a huge part of this program. And connecting with, there will be various events on Seattle U that we will be hosting with the Graduate Student Council as well as the Graduate Admissions Office throughout the year, for us to have a sense of community and for us to network. So that please check your emails and also look out for messages from the department so we can join these events. And for our next question, which will be directed to Julius, is what different IT needs do you need to make virtual learning work?
So Daniel, I think a lot of us basically just kind of jumped in there and started talking about the different social media apps, but more specifically as it relates to actual coursework. Taking a tour of the library and connecting with the library earlier on and understanding how to research articles or to request needs online is really paramount to success, in particular over the summer course time period. Not to discount fall, winter, or spring, but summer is a little bit different, just in my personal experience. So, to basically answer your question, it's really do a deep dive as much as you can with regards to the library's webpage and make those connections extremely early. That tends to lead to the road to success.
Thank you, Julius. There was a question in the chat regarding when classes will be available in Canvas. And Laura answered that question by saying that the start of the class is when professors usually open the Canvas page. But I know there's some classes that do provide it earlier, as I think the earliest is 1 week prior. So you can check Canvas, but also connect with your professors individually because they all vary from different programs. And the next question I see in the chat is, where can you find books for the MBA program? I don't think we have an MBA representative here in our panel, but
I'll look.
oh, perfect. Thank you, Tori. So their next question regarding virtual learning is, what are professors accommodating about individual student needs in this virtual environment, which will be going to Tabitha Brown.
So in my experience, the professors have definitely been very accommodating, especially during the pandemic. The one thing that you do need to do on your part is reach out and let them know what's going on. So that can be an individual email just stating that this or that is going on and I need an extension. All of my professors have been great about this. And even further, I've actually emailed before and spoke on behalf of my cohort to say, hey, we're all stressed out about this. Can we have an extension on this due date? And I've had professors that actually push the due date for everyone in those times. So I would say yes, in my experience.
I can also relate to Tabitha that having an open communication with your professors is really helpful, and just letting them know what's going on. And if your whole cohort feels the same way, typically your professors are willing to accommodate and push deadlines or even remove various assignments. So having that open communication is very crucial. Anyone else would like to add to that?
Sure. I found the last 3 quarters that my professors were pretty quick to respond to emails. So that is always a good way. That may sound kind of obvious, but that's always a good way to reach out to them. You can either email them through the inbox feature in Canvas, which is found in like the left menu bar, or directly from your SU Microsoft email. But I have found that professors have been very responsive and supportive virtually.
Thank you, Ariel. Perfect. So that was our virtual learning section. We're going to move on to academic and student support questions, and feel free to continue writing your questions in the chat and we'll be answering them during this question and answer portion. Our next question is, if I need support from the Writing Center or library, how do I access those resources? Which is going to Ashley Miller.
Yeah, so accessing the Writing Center you can do on the library's website. I'll have to look up the exact link and post it in the chat, but you can do that through the library's website. And I believe that they have resources virtually. Does anyone else know any more specific information about that?
They do have virtual services. I believe right now you would, I think instead of sitting down with someone and having them review your paper with you, you're going to be sending your paper to them and then they'll mark it up and send it back to you. is my understanding of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the Writing Center is very helpful for papers. I used it a lot in my undergrad, which I did at Seattle University, and it was extremely helpful, not only just for grammar, but also just like organizing your thoughts. Another resource that's been very helpful for me is in addition to the library, which is Grammarly. Grammarly is a tool that it's kind of like a website that you can go to, and you do have to pay for it, but you can upload your papers and it will like help you format it in APA, which is what's required for the EOLL program. So you can run your final drafts, your final papers through that platform, and it will help you in editing your writing. That's been extremely helpful for me. It also is something that is compatible with Canvas. So when you're doing your weekly post through Canvas, it will like auto sort of edit your spelling and some grammar in the chat or in the post box, which has just been so helpful for me. So that's another thing that I would specifically want like EOLL students to know, is to look up Grammarly. And hopefully I'm not getting too much on a tangent, but another resource that has been very helpful is Academic Writer, which is another online site. And for EOL students specifically, other students may also really want to utilize this when you're keeping track of your references, when you're citing references for your papers. If you use Academic Writer, you'll be able to put your references into that site and it will save and keep track of all of them, which when you get towards the end of your program, when you get to your comprehensive exams, you're going to be so happy that you did that, because you'll have a whole log of all of your references that you've used up to that point, and it just makes the whole process a lot easier. So that's another resource that I would want students to know about.
I have to add to that because I haven't used the program that you're talking about, but RefWorks ProQuest is offered through the school, and it is so great, and it also saves all of your references, and it's been a lifesaver through this program.
Thank you, Tabitha and Ashley. I haven't heard of RefWorks or Academic Writer myself, but I feel like I should use that for my DNP project. Thank you for those. And I can attest for Grammarly. It's been very helpful for your discussion post. It'll tell you if you have misspellings or run-on sentences, which I always have. So it's a very useful source. Our next question is about textbooks that some people have been asking in the chat. And this question will go to Serena. How do I rent textbooks, purchase textbooks, or what advice do you have for textbooks?
So for textbooks, usually the Seattle U Bookstore has textbooks. I like to wait until the first day of classes, though I know other people don't like that method. I prefer to wait to the first day of classes because often I find that a professor will allow an older version of a textbook, which means it saves me more money. Sometimes there are options to share textbooks with classmates. So pre-COVID, this was easier to do. Now it depends on your location. Also, the library often has textbooks that departments put there. Usually it's one book and the checkout period is 24 hours, or they have it in a little section where you're able to go and read it. So I feel like textbooks, there's a lot of variability on how you can rent it. And sometimes as you get into your program, you may feel that you don't need a textbook. And that's just the honest, truthful student answer.
Thanks, Serena. Any other textbook advice from the panelists?
Yeah. If you go to your My Seattle U, there's a link for bookstore, which if you enter, I think the term and your course number and section, it'll populate with the textbooks that you need. and it'll actually have the ISBN numbers of those textbooks. And so if you enter those on Amazon, typically Amazon has a lot of textbooks for rent. And so you can actually rent it on Amazon for a lot cheaper sometimes than you can from the SU bookstore. And then I think the rental period for Amazon is like 180 days or something. So it's, longer than a quarter. And then it's very easy to return it because they send you like a return slip and everything. And then you just drop it off at like a UPS location. So that's actually what I've done for all my textbooks, because I don't really need to keep them after the quarter's over. So I don't really see the point in buying them. So yeah, Amazon Rentals is a good option too.
Thank you both for those suggestions. I know going back to our earlier conversation about making connections, one thing that was really helpful too is connecting to students that are in the cohort above you. So you can basically purchase their textbooks, or even a lot of students even give away their textbooks because they're like done with the program. They just want to like get their books over with. So a lot of students also get textbooks free from previous students. So that's also very helpful. Our next question, we went through our list, but this is a question for all of our panelists. As an international student, who is starting my program from my home country, are accommodations made for the time zone differences? I'll give it a second, but I know because of this COVID pandemic, for my program specifically, there are students that aren't physically in Seattle. So it seems that the professors that I have currently have been very accommodating to their schedules and made sure that their assignments were turned into Canvas by a certain time. And if they weren't, because of the time zone differences, they allowed and they made accommodations for them to submit it later, just to ensure that the assignments are done. So a lot of students have received accommodations for professors, but it just goes back to having that open communication. Perfect. Any other suggestions from the panelists? And we're also monitoring the chat. And our next question is, how do I know that the university is what the university is doing to prepare for the fall reopening and what is expected of me? And we'll go back to the beginning of the list, and that question will go to Ariel Wilson.
Hi. So I think the last email I received, which I believe is the most updated version of what's going to be happening in the fall, is that campus will be open as fully in person as possible, which means that most classes will be in person. And I think the main thing you can do to prepare is to try to get a vaccination. Unless you have a medical or religious exemption, I think it's required to be on campus as a student. And so I think the expectation is to prepare to come to class in person for the fall. I know that for the Computer Science Fundamental Certificate program and also for the Masters of Computer Science program, that they're expected to be in person in the fall.
Thank you for that. And also, Tori posted a link for the latest updates for COVID-19. So if you have any questions regarding COVID reopening, feel free to click on the link that Tori posted, which is seattleu.edu/coronavirus. One question for the College of Nursing panelists is, would you recommend getting a printer for reading for classes? And I'll let Serena answer that question.
I'm going to answer that it depends on your learning style. Some people love paper and having that text. I usually am one of those people, but again, for my learning style, I find that flashcards are even more important for me. So I have classmates in the College of Nursing who have their iPad or just strictly do their laptop. So really, I don't think a printer is, it's nice. There are lots of places on campus where you can print if you need to. But personally, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I also agree with Serena. It really depends on your learning style. For me, I'm okay with reading it in an iPad or even on my computer, but there are a lot of articles that the school does give out. So sometimes it is helpful to print it out and write some notes, but there are resources in campus if you do need a printer, um, if you don't have one already. So the next question is, heading into your graduate work, you may be considering strategies for maintaining some level of life, work, and school balance. Any tips? And that is a question for all of us. And we'll start off with Julius. Any tips for balancing work, school, and life?
Since entering our doctoral program, I know one thing that our cohort, as well as our faculty, has stressed is, learn what your self-care looks like. And the reason why I say it that way is because self-care looks extremely different from person to person. And so understanding what it is that you need in order to provide self-care for yourself, just learning that is paramount to this process. But also, once you learn what it takes in order for you to simply to exhibit and to exercise self-care, actually follow through with it. Um, we have a lot of high achievers, not only within the College of Ed and in our program, but really all over the campus, specifically as it relates to graduate students. And so you kind of hear the kind of cliche of, just, you work and then you try to figure out how long it's going to take you to study and how long projects are going to take you. And so you just have this concept or this idea in your mind that you're just constantly in work mode. And a lot of us noticed that at the end of the quarter, we were like physically broken down, getting ill and things of that nature. And so just really this concept of just self-care and mindfulness is really embedded within our program. And I know it's embedded throughout the university as well. But as everyone is in attendance today, they'll learn to know that that's one of the unique features about Seattle U, regardless of what college or program that you're currently enrolled in, is that you'll start to appreciate this concept of mindfulness as it relates to self-care, and just make sure that you take the time out for yourself, but also take the time to define what that looks like for you.
Thank you, Julius. I also can't stress that enough, and that I'm speaking to myself as well. Self-care is very important, and aside from us being students, we're also human as well that also need breaks. So feel free and take some time for yourself. Tabitha, do you also have any tips for balancing schoolwork and life in general?
Yeah, this is a big one. It's really hard to balance everything, and I think it's also very dependent on your program. For the MSW program, I would say that this is such a rigorous program that if you are able to somehow work out a way for you to not be working a part-time job while you're in school, that would be preferable so that you have the time to have any self-care. I know that there are some people that have tried to work while doing the program, and it just is too much because we also have to do a practicum. Other than that, one of the ways that I have kind of managed, even though I only work 5 hours per week outside of my program, I will schedule one day a week at least where I'm not doing any schoolwork or any actual work or anything like that, just to kind of veg out, watch TV. That's my self-care, it's just doing nothing. So yeah, that's my tip. If you have the privilege of not working through the program, I would do that.
Thank you, Tabitha. Ashley, do you have any tips for balancing?
Yeah, I would say, well, first off, I know for the EOLL program, many of my cohort members and myself work while also going through the program, and that is very doable. It is challenging. My advice would be to break up the assignments over the week and not try to wait until, so most of the assignments typically are due on Sunday at like 11:59, and I have caught myself at times getting into a routine of waiting until Friday night to start some of the assignments. I would not recommend that. I would recommend, if possible, take a look at the assignments. They usually become available to you on Monday, and break them up into small chunks throughout the week. Don't leave it all to the last minute. I know for the weeks where I've done that, where I've done, a few chapters of the reading per day, it has just made it so much more manageable. And I feel like I've learned a lot more. Another thing that was told to me when I first started the program, and was a really helpful piece of advice, was that sometimes with having a lot of reading, it can feel kind of counterintuitive to sit down with the reading and really spend a lot of time reading the textbook when you know you have to write a paper. But I would really encourage you to like get comfortable with spending a lot more time in the material reading. And because by doing that, it will make the paper process, any writing component will just be so much more faster for you, because you will have had time to actually digest the material in the reading, and you'll actually have something to write about. I know in the beginning, I felt like, oh my gosh, this paper is due and there's all this reading, and I would like start backwards and like start with formatting the paper and actually trying to put some ideas in without having actually read the material. So that's a cycle that I think people can get caught up in. So that's something to think about.
Really good advice, Ashley. Thank you. How about Serena? Do you have any tips for balancing school, work, and life? And also to answer Renee's question, can you talk about balancing part-time work with the DNP program?
Yeah, so let me answer balancing part-time work with the DNP program first. Most graduate programs are really demanding. The College of Nursing expects our students to gain hands-on experience. So that could be in the form of volunteering, though that's a little bit challenging to find as a nurse. So yes, most people do need to work part-time. Your first year in the APNI program, I would not recommend it. I did have a few classmates in my cohort who managed to work full-time and do school, and I don't know how they did it. Myself, I wasn't able to do that. I have been working, and I've been really fortunate with my employer. They're very flexible, but I have other people who started jobs and they had to quit mid academic year because their employers were not as accommodating. So really, again, it's going to vary case by case. And then just to add to my recommendation for all majors, graduate programs with a work-life balance, is that I think it's important to be realistic. If you in your undergrad were the type of person who had so many activities and demands that you were up every night until 3 a.m. doing your projects, that doesn't really change. At least that's my experience, because I'm that person up at odd hours trying to cram everything in. And I think I thought when I started my graduate program that I would somehow be like a star student and things would be better, and I would like do all my readings, and I would make notes and read my notes after class every time. And I find that I'm the same type of student I was when I was in my undergraduate program. So being real with myself was very helpful when I transitioned to the doctorate portion, and just finding strategies that work for me. And so that's my recommendation for work-life balance is really take some time to know yourself and set realistic goals. And then don't be afraid to change them. And definitely don't be afraid to ask for help from classmates, professors, and even your family. I think sometimes and I know I'm talking a lot, but I am married, and I wasn't married when I started the program. And there was a big difference for me. I have some classmates who have 4 kids, And I wasn't sure how to manage a family, because when I moved to Seattle, I was by myself, and it was really easy to make time for my studies, and they came first. So sometimes an advice that was given to me that I feel is really helpful is set boundaries with people. Maybe you don't have a family, but you have best friends and you guys were always hanging out previously. But just, I think there's a polite way to tell people, like, you get my Thursdays, I need my Fridays. And somehow it all works out in the end.
Thank you, Serena. I can also answer, I can attest to her response by saying time management is really huge and really key in any program. And specifically for the College of Nursing, I'm finishing my APNI program. For those who don't know it, it's the beginning of the RN licensure before we go to the doctorate side of the program. And it's intensive because we're supposed to be learning like all of how to be a nurse in 1 year and a couple months. And I know some students that do work full time, and I don't know how they can breathe right now. And I'm really impressed by them. They're like superheroes. But for me, I was not that person. I have to take time for studying and have to be real with myself, like Serena said, and make boundaries. That's one thing that I had to learn myself. In my undergrad, I was so open to doing everything, participating in various organizations, and going, like, hanging out with friends. But in this graduate program, although it's really intensive, we also have to take time to manage ourselves as well. And that's one key that I kind of had to learn going through it. But also, I reminded myself that it is manageable and it is doable. If you are realistic, and if you decide to do it and make the time for it to have a job, then it is doable, but you have to kind of reflect on yourself. And Ariel, would you like to answer that question of how to balance school life, work life, and just life in general?
Sure. Yeah. I think especially for the boot camp, which is very fast paced and intensive, it's very important to manage your time. And for me, I found that having some sort of tangible schedule that either you write into a calendar on your computer, or for me, I use a really primitive schedule. I just have a text edit document where I write what I'm doing every day of the week. And I schedule every week on Sunday down to how I'm going to split up the work I'm doing on assignments, or when I'm going to start studying for tests. And also in the schedule, I don't just have work and academic things. I also schedule personal time, like cooking meals, like meal prep or exercise, because it is really important to take care of yourself and to rest. In some ways, it's just as or more important than studying, because you can't assimilate information or expect yourself to do well on exams if you haven't taken care of yourself. So it's very important to prioritize those things too, and not to just study all the time. You need sleep and nutrition and all that kind of stuff, and time with your loved ones. That's really important too. So managing your time and having it written down somewhere, and also, like my fellow panelists mentioned, being okay with adjusting your strategy and your expectations and keeping those flexible, and rewriting your schedule, reevaluating every day based on how you feel or based on what things come up in your life that you have to reprioritize is really important. For the boot camp, don't wait to start your assignments. Start them as soon as you know of them and as soon as you've seen the content, because you usually have something due every day or two. And so as soon as you can start them, the better, because the sooner you can reach out to the professor with questions, rewatch lectures if you need to, so you can understand the material enough to do the assignment is really important. And I think in the byline of the program, it is recommended that you do not work full-time during the boot camp, which definitely I know is impossible for some people. Some people may need to continue to work full-time. I think it is a challenge, and if you're able to go to part-time work, it's preferable. But if you can't, then I guess just not procrastinating your assignments is probably a good strategy. And I really admire those who do the program and work full time. I definitely would not be able to do that. So I guess that's my 2 cents about it.
Thank you for that. Yeah, one thing that really helped me that I learned from TikTok is time blocking. So I would put like hours in a piece of paper, and from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, I would list out an assignment that I would do just for that specific time. And also, like everyone has said, make sure that you have time for self-care and just reflection, because that is totally needed. All of our programs are very intensive. We all made it to this graduate program, and give yourself that grace to understand that you all can do it. That was a reflection that I made during this time. And our last question is, how do we find out what's happening on campus, or what ways to learn more about how to be involved? And that's a question for everyone, and anyone can join in. We all have, like Jeanette said, we all have different hats in this panel. Some of us are in GSC, some of us are in various departments on campus. So yeah, this question's for everyone.
So for the MSW program specifically, I know that our program often sends out emails about what's happening. Most of our events, actually all of our events this year, have been virtual, and I think that that's probably going to continue somewhat into the fall winter quarter coming up. But you will get those emails, and they usually send out a lot of reminders because they want everyone to come.
Very true. Yeah, there's a lot of reminders, and you'll have a lot of emails from various organizations on the campus. And also a plug-in for Graduate Student Council. If you're interested in joining, we do have a webpage on Seattle U. I'll type the website up, and we're looking for anyone who wants to participate. You don't have to join a position, but the mission of Graduate Student Council is to improve the graduate student life. Whether that be academically or community-based. We're all students, and we all want to advocate. We want to advocate for students, and we want to make sure that student voices are being heard in the admissions and in the professional level. And so we want to make sure that students have conversations with the administration, so we can build that bridge together. Anyone else want to add into learning more on how to be involved on campus?
I'll add one quick thing. Yeah, watch your email because a lot of organizations will email you a lot about things that are going on, and then also network with your cohort. I found out about a lot of things because I became good friends with someone in my cohort who was really connected and knew about everything. So I just asked her a lot about things that were going on.
That's true. And also, I believe every student has access to Connect SU, which is a website that lists all of the university organizations. It goes from it's a comprehensive list, so you can join from that website, and it also has a list of the officers from that organization for you to connect with. And yeah, so if you're interested, just click on Connect SU, and I will put that link up. We are almost out of time, so thank you everyone for joining, and I will be passing it on to Jeanette.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I am so grateful for everybody on the panel and your wisdom here today. And I think I appreciated your authenticity and your wisdom. And so hopefully the new folks coming in are feeling the same, and that you were getting your questions answered. And I think there's one thing that is so clear in this process, is that a place like Seattle U is really a relationship-based experience. And you heard over and over again panelists talking about reach out to your faculty member, reach out to your cohort, reach out to your colleagues for support and also for answers. And one of the things that was so evident when you are at commencement is you really see the village that has held up these graduate students through their studies. And I hope you're in the process of creating your own village to help you through your studies, because we just can't do it by ourselves. We need the support of friends, family, coworkers, colleagues. So build your village and it'll make a big difference. But a place like Seattle U should be able to help you do that as well. So again, I'm going to plug for the online Canvas course that has a plethora of resources available to you that will help you find answers that maybe you will think of after today. But I also want to make sure that you're aware that just inside, once you can get to campus and campus reopens in the fall, just inside the student center on the first floor is a resource desk that is staffed by students that have been trained and are well-versed in a whole host of things that you may have questions about as they come up and you want to ask a person. We also have a student support website that is staffed for any question you might have, both as a new and continuing student. So that is information is shown in the online resource as well. So there are people who want to help you and support you along the way. So once again, I welcome you all to Seattle University, and I'm so delighted that you're on the precipice of some really exciting things in the weeks ahead. So best wishes to all of you, and please feel free to reach out as needs come up. And I'm going to plug once more for our colleagues in the Grad Student Council and the work that they do. Some of it is advocacy and some of it is just fun. So make sure that you take advantage of the fun things as well. So best wishes to all of you. And we will see you in graduation and keep that in sight as you move forward. Again, thank you all for coming today.